Hey everybody, it's the Monday Review. Got Vince and Waki here. Waki, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Adam.
Good.
How are you?
Good. Beautiful day in the Chattanooga metropolitan area. Vince, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Adam Bells, and I think I just want to get right into it, real quick. Skip kind of plastic peasantries a little bit,
Please.
based on recent events. I don't know if y'all been paying attention to the NFL draft, but there's a son of a football coach who was in the news for prank calling potential draftees. Okay, and if
Oh,
you had to prank call a hopeful USMNTer, who would it be?
I'd want to
Hmm.
get Kevin Sullivan's dad on the phone. For
That's a
sure.
strong candidate. That's a strong candidate. I don't know for anybody who's watching or listening to this episode and hasn't watched the MLS documentary. Cavitt, the Cavitt episode is, you can really just tune into that one on its own. But Brendan Sullivan, a real treat, a real
He's our
treat.
best soccer dad prospect we've had in probably ever.
Yeah, probably ever. Because remember, Airborne was not a heralded prospect at all.
Mm-mm.
Just came out of nowhere. But Brendan, he has all the makings, all the fixings of somebody that we're gonna want in our lives for a while.
I'm just trying to think like who's the closest thing we have to Shador Sanders in the USMNT pool.
It might be
And and it's well, if it's not it's probably Geo, right? So if
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it because I don't go for that sort of thing. But if I was gonna prank somebody, it would be Geo. Call him and say, put on an accent, say this is Fiorentina Perez, and
that's tough.
we want you to come join Jude.
I actually think an Adam Bell's prank call spinoff could work.
I'm not
He
clever
would
enough,
hate it so much. No, the problem is you're too honest.
I guess.
You
Yeah.
would confess to it was a prank call within the first 15 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. This isn't a real call, but hello.
You would tell them.
Yeah, and in my head, as far as a prank, USMNT call up, it would have to be Matt Miazga for me.
Another great reason to watch the MLS show, by the way.
Yes, yes.
Those are really the two stars of the show.
Well, what's
Man.
Miazga's starring role in the show?
We just get a look
Bro.
at how he got a really got into a really dumb argument with a ref and has not really come to terms with it a year later. Basically, he burst into a room after a game and started yelling at them.
Oh yeah, he went in the ref room.
Yes, when he popped in the dressing room, bro, and like still to this day, he thinks what he was doing was like he thinks what he intended to do is like something that is above board and something that people should be able to. He's like, oh, I just wanted to go in there and tell him that he got the call wrong, and apparently that's not what I'm supposed to do. I have the exact quote somewhere, but that was the gist. The gist of it was he just wanted to go in there and have a few words, and he doesn't understand why it became a
He
a
burst
whole
into the
thing.
room by force and had to be then removed by security.
He and the QAnon shaman have a lot in common then, I guess, don't they?
This was kind of the January 6th of soccer.
I don't see what the big deal is. We were just going in to let our voices be known,
Yeah, and this the perfect type of dude that would not know that this is a prank call. I mean, I got the shabbiest of Argentinian accents, as I'm calling Matt Miazga, pretending that I'm Poch or whatever. And you can bet your ass Matt Miazga would be in St. Louis or whatever, wherever camp would be.
Yeah, the risk with prank calling Miazga, though, is he could be following up with you on his own for the next year.
Right.
Yeah.
On whatever
Yep.
you tried to get him on.
Yep.
Yeah, it just seems a lot of the prospects for a prank call, it seems like it'd just be cruel to do it to them.
We know you wouldn't like it, and that's part of what the charm of the show.
But Miazga's, it wouldn't feel too bad about that. Not because of anything.
Maybe
political,
it's just prank calling Miazga. That could be the whole show.
Just over and over again.
Yeah.
He wouldn't catch on. I'm telling you. That's a different type of dude, man. Yeah. I think that might be episode 2 and 3 of the MLS show.
Okay.
Really, you can truly skip one. Skip one is not important whatsoever.
Is that about Messi?
It's about Messi and the Galaxy.
Well, it's kind of about Messi. Messi didn't agree to be filmed, really. So they're in Miami, and his bodyguard is basically tackling the camera away all episode.
Great stuff.
Listeners, so I don't know if y'all remember that 1 week where we didn't have a Monday show, and our Monday show got scrapped and lost, but it was me, Waukee, and a special guest breaking down.
We talked about this for a long time. That's why we're so familiar with it.
MLS documentary episodes 1 through 3. We might get back to it at some point, but we'll see.
Well, so speaking of Messi, and then 2 players that I would never prank call, not even hypothetically, who are Brian White and Sebastian Berhalter. The 3 of these players met in CONCACAF Champions Cup in the middle of last week. I think this is a great story. Vancouver's like top of the table, league-wide table. They got more points than anybody else in MLS. Brian White and Sebastian Berhalter both score in a win over Inter Miami. This is Champions League. This is CONCACAF Champions League. I don't know why they changed the name of it to Champions Cup. It's kind of dumb. But anyway, Champions League. They beat him in the first leg of the semifinal, 2-0. Both really nice goals. Berhalter, the younger, also got the second assist on the White goal. Massive home win for the Caps. Now they have to hold on in Fort Lauderdale or Boca Raton or wherever Inter Miami plays. And then Berhalter, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts about that, but then Berhalter scored a really nice goal over the weekend as Vancouver beats Minnesota, like a curler from 20 yards out.
Yeah.
Top bins.
Smack
yeah.
it.
I saw some people saying on social media, like, that's, when they quote tweeting this highlight saying, like, this is why I don't like watching MLS. It's just horrible. I think it was Dom, right? And I watched the clip. I'm like, what's wrong with this clip? Everything is nice. Everything everybody does is nice. But anyway.
It's got to be frustrating watching, first of all, MLS in general, and then it's Berhalter in the club. No, thank you.
I have to say, when I saw this clip, I was like, man, I might have to cop it. I might have to cop a jersey.
Get a Berhalter white cap.
Berhalter white caps might go crazy, bro. I might need that because you can't get a. I guess you could get a Berhalter Chicago Fire, but like what does that really mean?
Right. It doesn't mean the same thing.
You got to get a Berhalter coat plus if you want to go Berhalter senior jersey. I think that's the one to get. But
which one?
Coat bus.
Oh, okay. The club in Germany.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's the best one to get because it seemed like from the plan that he was going to transfer somewhere cool like Greece where it's really warm. But then he had to tell his family, no, we're going to Eastern Germany.
Like 2 years after the wall fell. Well, not 2 years.
In fact, we could say it was 2 years. It was still rough.
Yeah. It's still rough. It's still rough, like to this day. There's like no money over there. Still.
Yeah.
I hear Leipzig is lovely, but
my family is going to go to the Leipzig area in the fall to visit some friends really good friends from Minneapolis who moved there. And I occasionally, I think we maybe talked about this on the podcast, but remember when the far right politicians did really well in the German election? I don't know, a couple months ago, 3 months ago. I looked at the map, like the heat map of where the far right did really well. And it was like they just dominated in East Germany.
Yeah.
Outside of Berlin. and probably Leipzig too.
Yeah, I mean, they'll go for pretty much any type of authoritarianism in East Germany.
Well,
Right or left. They see both
interesting.
sides.
It's interesting because they both, it was both like disproportionately for the far right and for the far left in East Germany. They want to mess with this mealy mouth middle, the Christian Democrats. Give me a break.
Understood. Yeah, I know a couple people that moved to Germany, or I'm aware of them. I met them once, but they moved to Germany like in light of the election and recent events or whatever. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, they have their ascending. They got their own issues coming down the pipe. You know,
We all do.
I was wondering about that decision in particular, but you know, hey, it's not my life.
I messaged the WhatsApp group that we have with this couple, me and my wife and our good friends, asking them about the election. Crickets. They still haven't responded to this day. Just moved on to a different topic.
Yeah, they voted for him.
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, anything else on the ascendancy of the Whitecaps? The lead topic for the Monday review today? No.
Do they have an interesting coach, Waukee? He's not American, is he?
He's not American, so
okay, understood. Yeah, so we can move on.
I'm a xenophobe, so gotta be American for me to watch. For me to even really care at all, frankly. Couldn't even tell you his name or her name. It might be a woman. I don't know.
No, it's not a woman. It's a man. It's a man. He's handsome. I noticed that, but I don't know anything else about him. So producer Liz, who we don't give enough credit to. Credit to Liz. She helps us so much with these episodes. Thank you, Liz. We appreciate you. She wrote, Bell's favorite MLS player of all time, Shaq Moore, scored against Inter Miami. It's a rough week for Inter Miami because they lost to Dallas. It's true that Moore scored both for his team and for the other team. It is not true that he is my favorite MLS player of all time. My favorite MLS player of all time is Kevin Sullivan. And I want to move quickly on from the Dallas Inter Miami result to Kevin. He got his first real cameo of the season. This is important, I think. 28 minutes off the bench in a 3-0 win over DC United. It was a steady, professional performance. I think this is what we want to see from him right now. Go out there, set a floor, build yourself a platform to do the cool stuff. But you need the platform first. And I think two things. One, his work ethic is not a question. Very industrious kid. His strength in duels, he's only 15. I think he doesn't turn 16 until later this year. His strength in duels is a question. He's pretty soft. I'd like to see him start coming away with the ball a little bit more often.
Hey, he got ragdolled one time, bro. Like,
more than once. Yeah. He sticks that foot in and it's just the leverage is all off. He's not getting anywhere near it. These grown men. He's up against Aaron Herrera. Dude has like 30,000 minutes at right back in MLS over the last 5-6 years. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but it's played a lot. And he just, it's no contest. But progress towards that 1,000 minutes that we were promised by one David Goss.
We're gonna have to come collect on that, or what's the plan?
I don't know. I mean, there needs to be an injury crisis in Philadelphia for us to get to that. Seems like older brother Quinn has 1 goal and 5 assists so far this season. Is clearly superior to his little brother right now. And I'm, to Reese's point in the Weeby episode we did last week, Reese called in, left a voicemail. We appreciate that too. He's earned himself a January camp call up. I'm just going to go way out on a limb and say that he should be called up in January camp next year.
So I think we've now declared 2 players. This is about as far ahead as we ever get on January camp. So I'm glad we're being proactive this time around. We want Quinn, and obviously Seb Berhalter's, I think, a lock at this point.
Yes,
Sebby B.
Yeah. Sebby B. And Yeah, maybe we should just do a whole January camp roster episode like next week. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, we could do that probably, maybe not monthly, but
Every other month.
every other month.
Yeah.
January camp projections.
That's a great idea. Somebody who's not soft in duels is I'm just waiting for Officer Vince, the narrative police, to rain on the parade over here. But somebody who's not soft on duels is Diego Luna. The man scored twice as RSL visited high-flying expansion side San Diego, beat him 3-1. First, a real nice solo effort. Nicked the ball, drove into the box, curled it through two defenders past the unsighted goalkeeper. Real clever and technical. Then he just rolled a penalty in as the keeper guessed wrong. I got a quote from Pablo Mastroeni, who I gather doesn't suffer weaklings very gladly. He said this: "I don't think we can talk about Diego developing anymore. He's the guy. He's the guy that plays with the chip on his shoulder. He's one of our best defenders. He's obviously the guy that's putting the ball in the back of the net. He's doing it all for our group." I want to sense from you, Waki, of how often does Pablo say things like this?
He's always got something in that tone. That's pretty much how he talks.
Okay.
And it sounded really cool when he said it. Not that you didn't sound cool, but he was adding a little bit. There was a little bit, some different contours to that really heightened both his seriousness as a coach and just what a dog Diego is.
Did it sound more masculine when Pablo said it than when I said it?
He sounds more masculine than anyone I've ever heard talk, really. So it's not a shot at you. Yes, it sounded more masculine.
Okay. All right. I'll take it.
No. Why do I got to be the villain in this? You know what I'm saying? Just because
you chose you chose to do this.
No, I didn't choose to do anything.
Every time we bring up Diego Luna, you gotta be like, let me check the census to see if he comes from a low income neighborhood.
Bro. It's key. It's key because look, man. You know the point I'm making. You know the damn point I'm making. Okay, it's got nothing to do with Diego Luna and everything to do with you, the listener. Okay, check your biases at the door. That's all I'm saying. Now, I watched this match. Diego was balling. I agree a lot with Pablo. I mean that the man was cooking, bro. Man was First of all, he's everywhere. He's truly everywhere. Like showing for the ball, defensive third. You know, he's coming back for it. Like there's no point in the match where you're like, where's Diego Luna? Basically, you know, he's everywhere, affecting everything. Like there's a shot that he ends up with in the second half that I think he didn't catch that well, just like kind of went to the keeper. But like in order to even get in the play, like the ball is probably in like the middle third, progressing to the final third. I got this in clip notes. And Diego,
is it the one that goes up the left side?
It goes up the left side, and Diego is like back, like beyond the halfway line, and like he sprints. He gives a good 50 yards to where he can play in combination with whoever Salt Lake's number 10 is. I don't know who that is, but where he can receive a pass from him and get the ball in the box, take a shot. But that's just, he's just industrious out there, man. He's doing work. And I mean, looking extremely svelte.
You think so?
Man,
yeah.
He's looking good out there, man. He's looking good. Like I can't tell. I can't tell just off the shape of the body immediately who Diego Luna is. He fits in
a compliment.
Yeah, he fits in a lot more as a soccer player. And since what I'm saying, you have painted me in such a negative light with regards to Mr. Diego Luna, I just want to say there is audio proof that I've been a believer. You can go back to those CONCACAF championship days way back in whenever it was. I did a podcast with Young Joey. We recapped that match on the Scuff feed if you want to go find it. And I've always been a believer in particularly Diego's ability to, play soccer, right? Because there was a question, right? When he gets the grown man ball, is he gonna be able to cover the ground and whatever? I believed because even when he was a little bit heavier, he was able to do it. He was chugging a little bit, but you could see the explosiveness. He just wasn't like he's never been a plotter. I don't
Right.
think. He it would be some of that rumbling, bumbling, stumblingness to it, but he was still rumbling and bumbling though. He was getting to it when he needed to. And now that he's like lost a little bit of that barrel chestedness or whatever, man, the motor just don't stop. And this is I would say this match is probably like as impressed as I've been with Diego Luna in MLS. And yeah, I just want to just to echo everything Pablo said. Like, he's the guy. He's out there playing ball. Yeah,
That
no prank calls for Diego. You know what I'm saying? He's earned our utmost respect. He's getting the real call, buddy. He has a spot, I think.
It seems like it. That high capacity point, his ability to get everywhere on the field is huge for him, because the more he's on the ball, the more he's doing stuff, the better,
And that could be an interesting show as well. Just really sincere calls from Adam Bells. You just dial up Diego and just tell him basically everything Vince just said and all we've been talking about.
I mean, I already know what I would say. I would say, Diego, I appreciate you so much for when we recorded our interview. I forgot to hit the record button and we had to start over 7 minutes in. Appreciate your patience with that.
I guess in a way we already are making that show, aren't you? Because you have had a sincere conversation with Diego Luna.
Yeah. That was such a shame because it was like so good when we did it the first time. It was really cooking. I'm not exaggerating to you guys. And then I had to tell him that I didn't hit record on his file. And he was not well pleased with that revelation, even though he's a very nice person, as he shouldn't have been. It's a big waste of his time. So then we kind of rushed through that first 7 minutes again, and the vibe was not the same. I've probably said that on the podcast already. Let's get to some hilarity here. BJ Callahan's Nashville SC beat Gregg Berhalter's Chicago Fire 7-2. It was 5-0 at halftime. And, I don't know. I mean, I noticed that Brian Gutierrez got absolutely manhandled trying to mark somebody on a corner kick for the second goal. A pretty sad display from a player I tend to like. But I think the bigger story here is the apprentice becomes the master kind of storyline, right? The tactical manager had a field day with this, of course. Pyongyang Chicago Fire did his best, but this is what he said in Korean: failure is better. We have to do better. We demand more from our soldiers and leaders. We believe that they will rise from the ashes. We trust Gregg. It's hard. It's hard out there,
Yeah. And I wish I had some analysis for the listeners about this game. I saw it was 5-0 on my phone app, and I thought, I'm not going to watch this one. Let's put this in the rearview mirror. Let's not think about it once.
Wow.
I'm happy for BJ, but winners, what's next? They move on.
Yeah.
Anyone who's suffering today, they have that mentality.
It was somebody hit me up on Twitter that said BJ put up a touchdown and an extra point on Gregg, which I do got to mention it. It's a very BJ Callahan scoreline right there.
Yeah.
7-2 defensive struggle. I got him a little consolation safety.
Yep.
there at the end
A
of the match.
tactical, a
But
tactical safety.
He might have
if you
taken
will.
the
yeah,
safety.
right. A tactical safety. Yes. Time running out. Had to run out the back of the end zone. Yeah.
It didn't look like, it wasn't, as is often the case, it didn't quite look like a 7-2 game if you see the chances going back and forth. But that's why I kind of pinpoint the Gutierrez failing, because that makes it 2-0 inside like 15 minutes or something. And then, I know you don't want to talk about it, Chris, but then things just kind of spiraled from there.
I'm happy BJ's doing his thing. It seems like Gregg's on his way to doing his thing. So, but yes, I'm happy for both coaches right now.
The league needs a strong BJ Callahan. So on balance,
right.
this is good.
That's right.
The country needs a strong BJ Callahan, I should say.
Yeah.
Nation.
Yeah, maybe he's gonna play a key role in the renaissance that's coming.
We want him to do well enough over these next, I guess, year that he is we want him listed in the short list, whoever the next manager is.
Mm-hmm. That'd be cool.
I don't think it's time for him, but we just want to have him in the conversation.
Maybe he'd be the perfect assistant for not Jim Curtin, but BJ Callahan for Poch to bring in, which he's not going to do.
I think BJ's getting enough of a taste for that top seat. He's not going back to being the factotum.
That's a wrap.
Even for Poch.
He's not,
factotum.
He's not handing out the scholarships to walk-ons no more, man. He's ready to be the guy.
Okay.
It would be cool if he did join Poch's staff, if he just impressed so much he became a permanent member with Mickey and all the rest of the crew for Poch's next 15 years. He's popping around from Tottenham to whatever else comes next. But
I mean, that would be, that for me, that would be cooler than going straight to the head coaching job. But Max Arfston scored in Columbus 2-1 win over San Jose.
There was no need to mention this.
yeah, why? Let's talk through why you're mentioning it though. What's the thought
I thought we could
process
maybe
about telling us about Mars?
have a little fun at Maximilian's expense, but
I guess we are at
maybe
this
that's
point.
cruel.
You're right.
The World Cup posters are out.
Get him out of here.
The World Cup posters are out, and I love them. I gotta say, I love them.
We could tell.
The Miami one, fantastic. The LA one, I love too. And then some people are saying, well, the Mexico ones are better. The Mexico ones are all the same. All three are the same, by the same artist, same template. I don't know. Get real. The LA, Seattle, Miami, and Dallas is great. It's a cowboy doing a scissor kick, like fully in the air.
So it's something to look. I mean, I guess not look forward to. We can enjoy them now, but it's to get us excited today about this World Cup.
Well, I just listened to the congressman interview like this past week. I guess I'd ask you, Bells, did his responses to your questions fill you with confidence about how this World Cup is going to go off? Yeah, yes or no?
No, not really. I guess what fills me with confidence is that it's just something you can't allow to be screwed up,
Yeah.
It's not any particular assurance from Representative Larson, and he wasn't giving a ton of assurances. He was just sort of saying, we got to do X, Y, and Z, but he wasn't like, it didn't seem like he was. Did he seem confident to you?
I mean, I don't know about
Confident enough. Yeah.
I don't know about it. Yeah, I don't know. I think the idea that like, you know, everyone from the executive office down is aware of how big an event this is and how you know, got a reputation on the line a little bit
Yeah.
on a global scale. Um the
Baron Trump's gonna handle it. He'll take
world's
care of
favorite sport
business.
event. Yeah, that might be it. That might be it. So yeah, out of everything he said, I think the fact that
Is there a World Cup mascot
it seemed
yet?
like everybody's aligned.
Have we announced a mascot? It could just be Baron.
Maybe I thought Volar was on in a
That's
probationary period.
That's the Gold Cup. Unless I guess if Volar performs exceptionally well, he should be a candidate for sure. But if not, I think it should be Baron.
Is it sort of Western chauvinism for me to say anything would be better than the last World Cup's mascot?
What?
Do
It
you-
may
Are
be,
you
but
talking about
certainly
the,
Western chauvinism to want it to be Baron as well. So I
Yeah.
think you've got cover to say that if you want.
Okay. Yeah. I
you
don't
know what? I think that little sheet in the wind grew on me.
did it
I forgot what bro's name was.
Laib
but,
maybe or
Yeah, I think that's what it was. But grew on me.
Okay. Let's take a break. Be back in a minute. If you want to get the podcast ad free, join the Patreon. Links in the show notes. All right, we're back. Let's start with AC Milan. Pulisic scored early Sunday morning to help secure a 2-0 win over Busio and the rest of Venezia. In Venice, the water and the sailboats in the background. Game starts full daylight. Game starts off kind of choppy. Venezia hustling into Milan's half a little bit, but then really sort of straight line, precise combination from Leao and Abraham. Abraham with a back heel in a very fast sequence up the middle. Leao takes a shot, and it's only just a heroic effort from Gianluca Busio that slides to stop it, to block the shot. And then a minute later, so Milan's like, we're in charge. And then a minute later, Venezia gives it up in their own half. Bang, bang from Jimenez to Fofana. And he zips it into Pulisic, striding into the box. Really clever pass. Perfect first touch, kills it. He's kind of alone in front of the goalkeeper and then rifles it in at the near post. And people say, well, that's an easy goal. So many details in this, I think. Really two details. He must have sold it with his eyes that he was going to the right, going to the keeper's left, and maybe with his body shape, but makes the goalkeeper go the wrong way, makes it look easy. AC Milan up 1-0, and that's game, basically.
Well, so it was basically game, but Venezia had a goal that was called off due to Gianluca being offside. He was offside. Ball was played. I don't even know if it was like directly played to him. The camera angle cut. They did like a zoom in on the player that was on the ball when they made this pass to Gianluca, but I feel like he kind of just like dinked it into space, and Gianluca came back and got it and laid it off to somebody, and then they played somebody into the Man City zone cutback goal. But yeah. It was 1-1 at that point, called off due to Gianluca. Gianluca was off. Like I said, he came back into the play. Like there was no necessary advantage necessarily gained because like I said, he came back to the ball, but he was offside. And really, when you look at the clip, he didn't really need to be offside in that moment. But yeah, it's a shame.
He's a very competent soccer player, Gianluca is.
Yep.
And man, he gotten a lot better at the sort of capacity and defensive parts of the game. But it's just I don't think he's going to be a major factor for the national team.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess. Pulisic has 50 goal contributions in 2 seasons. Lots of tweets going on around about that. Musa hasn't played in Milan's last 4 games. What happened?
Yeah, it's a
What
wrap.
happened between him and Conceição?
It's a shame. I mean, it was that one giveaway. Who was it playing? I think it was Fiorentina. I want to say about a month ago. Came back into the lineup or whatever. Gave the ball away, goal, and yeah, got what he got yanked 26 minutes or something. Haven't seen him since. Haven't
Yeah.
seen him since, unfortunately.
So another thing is Pulisic and AC Milan, not Musa, of course, due to what we're just talking about, but Pulisic and AC Milan beat Inter 3-0 in the Supercoppa, not the Supercoppa, in the Coppa Italia semifinal. They will now play Bologna in the final in Rome, and there's a very decent chance we'll be there. Tyler Adams and Bournemouth drew Manchester United at home. Tyler was, I think, kind of escaped justice a little bit for a studs up challenge, as he does. Man can just do he does a lot of dastardly stuff without, he knows the line and how to put his foot over it, so to speak, and not get sent off. Anyway, it was studs up challenge on, I think it was on Garnacho, and as VAR assessed the challenge, the commentator on Peacock really went in on refs in general. Said most of them, quote, haven't kicked a ball in their life, end quote. I thought that can't be true.
That's probably not true, and it's a nasty thing to say.
Very rude thing to say.
Even I've kicked a ball in my life.
Yeah, I mean, who hasn't kicked a ball in their life? And I imagine most refs are pretty decent at soccer. Is that?
Why was the commentator so upset?
I don't know, because he ultimately agreed with the decision, but he was like, he just sort of said it as an aside. I don't know. Can't really trust these guys. They never kicked a ball in their life, and then they got the call right in his opinion. But did he walk back what he said? Not one iota.
They really hate refs over there.
Why? I don't get it. It's like, it's
well, I think everyone, yeah, I mean, it's like anything else, they believe their refs, the PGMOL is generally incompetent, but which there might be some evidence to that. Just as far as, like, I mean, English football culture, they're lagging behind the rest of Europe and everything else. I mean, surely their refs would be assier than the average Spanish ref, probably too. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe so. Yeah. We need refs, man. We need refs real bad all across America. Malik Tillman is back in the doghouse. He was late to a team meeting, and Luke de Jong called him out in an interview saying he's letting the team down. They really like to speak frankly at each other in the Netherlands, because what de Jong said was nothing compared to what Joey Veerman said. He piled on in the same article. He said one man's death is another man's bread. When asked about Baj's decision to leave Tillman out of the starting lineup.
Whoa.
I know.
What in Malik? This sounds pretty serious, or is that just a Dutch frankness? I should not worry.
Hey man, they're fed up with it.
It's I don't know if it's like if he's still thinking about Easter or what, but yeah, it's a weird saying. It's a weird saying that I guess it's common, and it must be common in the Netherlands, but it's and then he goes, the coach is simply right, and then if you are late on a match day, you should not play. But I mean, one man's death is another man's bread.
There was another Dutch quote I saw a couple weeks ago when they were talking about Malik's future transfer, and actually it was Rick Elfrink who said it. He said something like, as my mother used to say to me, woe the bones of the boy who will one day leave me. Woe upon the bones, maybe. But it was, and then there were other people in the replies saying, my mom said that to me too.
Huh. Man. Lots of yeah, I think we should do a whole episode on Dutch colloquialisms.
I mean, look, I'll say this: the one thing that I do appreciate is that for PSV, they're developing these boys right. They're not playing no games, man. Malik,
Yeah.
get the stuff on time, baby. You know.
Yeah, he really needs to be on time.
And it's like, you know, you don't hear about these things happening in other places a lot of times, mostly because, you know, they tend to overlook things.
The only other thing from PSV, I agree, Malik needs. They're training him right there. The only other thing from PSV is Bosch said in a press conference that Serginho no longer necessarily has to play left back. He always thought that that was his best position. Is that true? Did he always think that? But he has now changed his mind. He can also do very well at right back. He discovered this by watching YouTube videos of himself.
Man,
you can learn a lot on YouTube, you know.
What a guy, man. That's yeah. Yep.
I mean, they must do film reviews all the time with the team.
But has he played?
I know. That's the thing. It's like he has to watch YouTube to see himself play.
Rewatched all of his games before?
Has he played right back for PSV though? At least not a ton.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
And maybe the times he's played it while he's there, he's like, I'm not feeling it. Even though, you know,
he played right back at a World Cup.
At a World Cup, baby. It's funny shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. A lot of the Surge idiosyncrasies. I'm like, hey, like some of the stuff. I'm just like, I mean, okay, but this one, it tastes like cake, man. You can't beat Surge.
Yeah,
it's truly a different type of fella.
I think all reports, all signs point to that for sure. So Gio got 10 minutes off the bench versus Hoffenheim. I want to mention it because I watched it. Took a few corner kicks. They were good. Had a couple headers to settle possession. Hoffenheim scored an equalizer in stoppage time to make it 2-2. That was not Gio's fault. But then he wouldn't stick his foot out to collect a good pass from Emre Can into the box. And Emre Can did not understand why he didn't stick his foot out. Maybe he thought somebody else was darting in behind him. Maybe he didn't want to extend his hamstring. I don't know. But then Dortmund did score the winner at the death. Gio's role was to trot along well behind the play as all the action occurred. So nothing new there, I guess, is long story short, nothing new on the Gio front.
Yeah. We should have gave him the same shrift that we would have given Ada Morris at the end of this podcast or something. I mean, Bells, you wrote all this shit. Anyway, let's continue.
Okay. Only other things are Kevin Paredes started his second straight game and then came off injured in the 62nd minute in a 1-0 loss to Freiburg. Quote from Hassan Hudl, his coach, it's probably a serious muscle injury. Yikes. Based on what he reported. It's not surprising. The boy was injured for almost a year, had a good game against Mainz, but you can see he's still missing a lot, end quote. Hopefully it's not as serious as the coach thinks it is. And we could see him at the Gold Cup, but
you never know with these European coaches. There's stricter rules on giving specifics, and I think that conditions them to say probably a major injury.
Yeah, maybe. You notice that they say the boy a lot in Europe too,
They do.
which we don't. We don't say that over here.
Why is that, Adam Bells?
Well, you know, Vince, why it is.
Okay, all right, just wondering.
I don't say it.
You can
And
say
then
the boy. You can say the boy, right?
even that.
I mean,
You
I
can s-
just steer clear of it completely, but in
You
theory.
definitely can't say the boy in the intonation that you just said it, Joaquin. No, that's not happening.
Oh, okay. I'll have to re-listen to that and make sure I don't do that again.
You can say your boy, the boy. You know,
Not the
you,
boy.
you gotta say it. That boy, your boy. You know what I'm saying? You say it in a
Yeah.
way that that lets people know that you are, you know,
What if I said
mocking any
that guy is the
MC.
absolute boy?
The man, the man. You gotta say the man. It
Okay.
wouldn't even make any sense in American slang. You know, that guy is the absolute boy. Yeah, that's not working. That's not working.
And
But
then
it's not offensive. It just sounds dumb.
that's my take on it, but I defer to Vince on this
I
and
guess
many
I
other
guess I
things.
just won't say it at all.
Tolkien got hurt with a head injury, but he's not expected to miss any time. It was him versus Joe Scally, and Holstein Kiel got the 4-3 win. Tolkien got an assist on a corner kick. It was a nice corner kick. But Scally, I'm going to give him short shrift on this one. And then you got something quick on PAX, Vince?
Okay, so there's been some stuff coming out about Pax's future. I think Ron Jans said that they're working to keep Pax at Utrecht for another year, working with Frankfurt. And I think Pax also responded to this and said it would be a good option to stay at Utrecht for another year. Now, um, it is a good option, but this kind of, I guess, begs the question on if Pax is ready to fight for minutes at Frankfurt. And the question with that is kind of like the same question with his national team inclusion, where like Frankfurt, I've noticed this from watching Nathaniel Brown the few times that I have. You know, they run in like a 3-2-5 possession shape. Where does Pax fit in there?
Right.
You know, does he fit in the two? Does he fit in as one of those five in the front line? These are all questions that have not necessarily been answered by his time in Utrecht. You know, he is playing in a two, right? But he's playing in a two on a team in the Netherlands that doesn't want the ball. And so, you know, he has all the defensive capabilities and all that, but there's still questions there that need to be answered. And I don't even know if they get answered by staying another year at Utrecht. Now that I'm thinking about it, but he's played a lot. He's played a lot of 10 here recently. He's been deeper the last 2 weeks, and there's a couple passes from this past week that Paxson has shown that maybe, you know, he has it in the bag. He has the ability to be a member of that Eintracht Frankfurt double pivot.
That'd
But
be amazing.
it
That'd be
would be
amazing if he
amazing.
could
And they're
develop
coming
into
back
that.
to Louisville this year. I don't know if y'all knew that. They
I
came
didn't
here
know that.
last. They're coming back once again this year as part of their U.S. tour. Hopefully Pax is there when I go watch training again. And now that I know who Nathaniel Brown is, I can watch him as well. But anyway, it's tough to tell at this point. Saying that Pax will for sure will hit at Frankfurt next year. It's up in the air. And so even though, you know, this loan has been very successful, all that, et cetera, it's just tough to call it right now.
And remember, Tom Bogert this is a while back now, did swear to us he would be
See,
at Frankfurt next year, and I didn't forget, and he's going to be held accountable if he's not there.
We got both members of Soccer Wise hung up. We might got to pay him a visit, Jersey style. Mr. Bogus should be familiar with that. You know what I'm saying?
We'll see how it plays out with PAX, but that needs to be on the table.
It does need to be on the table, man.
I want to shout out my friend Bill Middleton, who is on the Scuff Discord, because he's always talking about how in America we don't train players to receive the ball in difficult situations and solve problems. And I feel like this tweener situation, this tweener problem, is maybe in some ways a manifestation of that, because Pax he's not really a final third guy. I mean, he's decent, he's good in the final third, don't get me wrong, but he's not like a high volume chance creator necessarily. He's not necessarily a six, which you've been saying for months and months, Vince. And we need more purity in the way we develop players for one of those two roles. Because how many number 8 water carriers can one national team have? You know,
I mean, a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but sure. I don't know. I think this.
I don't really know either. But I think there is a connection.
It was a rhetorical question, I think. Is what I think we forgot there after you said it.
Hey, we got to get out of here. Thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate it. We'll see you.